Alright, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're back again with another YouTube video, and today we're going to be talking about the Edp445 documentary that's supposed to be coming out within the next couple months here. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this today is because I realized a lot of people didn't watch the interview I had with Mike Clum, who is the documentary maker who's going to be making this documentary. So I'm going to pretty much paraphrase a lot of the stuff we go over in that interview, while also answering some questions people still have and have been leaving on my YouTube channel and also the Reddit. Now, the first thing I want to answer is, what is this documentary? Why is it even being made? What's going on? So when I first heard about this documentary, it was because EDP actually broke his silence about it. As far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure they signed NDAs where they weren't actually allowed to go public with it. But of course, EDP, being the goblin he is, the little cupcake muncher, he had to go ahead and break his silence on Instagram and post a couple pictures of him and other YouTuber Boogie2988 pretty much having a sit down, and this obviously kind of got a little bit of traction. You had some big commentary channels discussing it. You obviously had my channel talking about it, and a lot of us were confused because we're like, what the hell is going on here? Is Boogie2988 seriously doing an interview or doing a documentary on EDP445? But later we found out from Boogie2988 that's actually being a documentary made by Mike Clum, who, as you guys might know, he made the Boogie2988 documentary almost a year ago now. Now, obviously, I watched the documentary when it came out. I even talked about it on my YouTube channel. I thought it was really well done. And even Penguin Zero thought the same. He made his own video kind of praising the documentary, and it absolutely blew up. So, a very well-received documentary by Mike Clum, and now he's trying his hand with EDP445. So I'm going to go into my first concern that I had, and really my biggest one about this documentary is obviously EDP45 is in a whole separate league than Boogie2988. Boogie2988, yes, is a garbage person, a manipulator, a scammer, and a liar, but he is nowhere close as bad as EDP445, right? Those are kind of two separate people. So my first concern was I hope Mike Clum handles this with care and respect, since you are actually working directly with the predator. He's working directly with the person that he's making the documentary about. So obviously I really hope that it gets handled with care, and he did kind of clear my conscience a little bit about it by saying that he does handle it with care, but there are some jokes scattered within, which, I mean, I understand that, but again, he's going to get a lot of flack probably for working with EDP445, but that's kind of the double-edged sword you got to deal with here if you want to make content about him. You know, you kind of have to take that risk of being criticized by people as well. So now all that's out of the way, let's get into the first question I've seen a lot of people ask is, when is this documentary coming out? You know, I've talked so much about it. I've even had, Mike Clum in for an interview. When's the documentary coming out? And I'm being honest with you guys, like straight honest. I have no idea when it's coming out. It was supposed to come out this summer, and some of you guys realized it's summer and it's still not out. I honestly don't know. I recently talked to Mike, and he pretty much said he's still working on it. Now, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure he's probably going to release a trailer for it a month before release. When he's almost done editing, he's probably going to post a teaser trailer like he did with Boogie2988. So it's probably still a little ways away. I mean, it could be a lot sooner than we think, but I honestly do not have a date for you guys, right? Like, I genuinely don't know. But what I do know is when it does get released, I'm going to be streaming it and reacting to it. So I hope you guys can join me with that, because I think that's going to be a really fun stream, just kind of reacting to it as well. Now, the next question I've been hearing as well is, am I in the documentary, right? A lot of people are asking if I'm going to be featured in the documentary. Do I get interviewed? As far as I'm concerned, I'm not in the documentary. You know, I don't think I need to be in the documentary. As some of you guys know, I didn't start going on the EDP stuff and looking into it until like 2023. Right, so I'm pretty late to the party. I was obviously around when the situation happened, the cupcake incident. I was obviously around since I used to be a huge fan of EDP at the time. You know, I used to watch his memes all the time and think they're absolutely hilarious. So I've been following it, but in terms of his actual story, I wasn't really there. I mean, obviously Master at Works, Cold Raven, all those guys were there, and they deserve to be in this documentary. I wasn't. Right? And am I sore about that? Absolutely not. I genuinely don't really care. I really just hope that this documentary is done well, and I'd rather more spots be reserved for people who are actually there or had an impact on EDP's situation. right? As far as I'm concerned, the only thing I've done that was notable is interview him, and 1,000 other people have interviewed him at this point, right? So I'm not going to be in the documentary. At least I don't think I am. I have talked to Mike Clum, but yeah, that's as much as I know. As far as Matt Simon, I don't think he's going to be in the documentary either, since he kind of had a falling out with Mike Clum, which I covered pretty extensively when it happened. So he's not going to be there. But from what I know, I'm pretty sure Cole Raven's in it. Chet Goldstein's probably going to be in it. Master at Work might be in it. Those kind of guys. Gideon's going to be in it. Kayla Hoskins is going to be in it, the victim, EDP's victim, who was 15 at the time when she got groomed. So all those guys are going to be in it. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Another question that I brought up, and I felt like a lot of people were curious about as well, is Boogie 2988 going to be in this documentary, since he was in the leaked photos that EDP leaked? And the way Mike Clum talked about it was he most likely will be scrapping the Boogie 2988 part, since it didn't really play that much of a role in the documentary altogether. Now I'm pretty sure they were supposed to do a skit, Boogie and EDP, and there was also a segment where apparently they were talking to each other, and according to Boogie, he got into a yelling match or yelled at Edp445. Now I don't know how true that is, since I haven't seen the footage yet, but according to Mike Clum, he most likely is going to be scrapping that bit, which I think is for the best. He only has so much hours he can use out of hours and hours of stuff he's already filmed. You gotta understand that he has to make this kind of bite size. Take all these interviews, all these questions, all this content, and shove it into a documentary that is, for the masses, right? Like, these aren't diehard EDP haters that are going to be watching this. It's going to be everyone, right? Like, obviously, us, my channel, the people watching me, Master Art Works, all these other guys, we know so much about EDP that is so pointless, right? To us, it's entertaining, but to most people, it's going to be pointless. So Mike Clum has to do the difficult job of taking content that he thinks is going to be interesting for the people. Which, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of interesting stuff about EDP and his whole downfall, but he's obviously not going to be putting in like the Michaela stuff and, his love life and the AI girlfriend stuff. Even though that's interesting to us, it's not going to be interesting to the mass amount of people. Right? But that's all I really want to talk about. If you guys want more answers to a lot of questions that you may have, go watch the interview. It's like an hour and a half long. The audio quality isn't very good since it's just from one of my streams, but I'm sure it's going to answer a lot of questions for those of you who are curious about this documentary. But yeah, if you guys want to join the Discord, the link will be in the description down below. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next YouTube video.
Counting sheep, but there's one I always miss. Everyone says I'm getting down too low. Everyone says you just gotta